Hi, everyone. I'm Jennifer Treter with Hendrick in Atlanta.
Hi, and I'm Julian Sharpe. I'm speaking to you from London, and I'm a partner of TP Bennett, part of the One Global Group.
So, we're here today as part of Designmilk to talk to you guys about the brave new world of design. And our focus is really going to be on how buildings impact people. When this opportunity came up, we were chatting and really thought about some of our more recent discussions around diversity. And so our focus, not only on how buildings impact people, is more specifically on diversity and really the overcome adversity in this case. So when you think about that, Julian, in our conversations recently, we were talking about how the world, there seemed to be for a long time, the world was comprised of the normal and everyone else. And really today, there's a growing understanding of the neurological differences we all have. I'm sure we're feeling it right now in many ways. And companies, corporate clients really see the advantages of people of diverse ideas, diverse backgrounds. When we think of it, it's important to see the advantages as opposed to the disadvantages. It's really about the positive things we all bring to the table when we're going about our day. And so, as we've been designing environments, it's important to help those clients see how we can create workspaces that support a broader range of variations in the workforce, whether it's their needs and sociability, learning patterns, it could be their attention, their moods. There's a myriad of things. I'm sure we're all feeling it being isolated from our peers just in our physical work environment. Our connections today um, are probably more elevated in what we miss or what we need, what our diverse background needs, because we're remote and technology is all we have to be together and connected. Although I'm grateful to be connected to you today because I can't always be in London. So Um, so really kind of jumping into that, I think it's sort of our call to action to say we don't have all the answers, but we do know the importance of any design is to think about the people and how they are so critical to our strategy and what we do, and that you can't lose sight, whether it was a month or 2 months ago, and what our working environment was, or where we feel today and being separated, that the people and the makeup of the people in the office and how we want them to engage with each other can only be successful if we drive down into who they are and really what will elevate them to be successful in their work and their practice socially with people. So, thinking about how buildings impact people, instead of driving into the physical building and going into a technical discussion, maybe I think it was fun at a conference recently. You gave a nice little anecdote about how to think, how we could start to think about people. That is not about a specific difference. It's just our personalities. And so maybe go into that discussion because I thought it was always a fun story. I love the people in the image because they all have crazy sandals on either way, or they all like sandals. I don't know.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. No, I think you're totally right. And I think what we've all been guilty of for some time now is concentrating on empirical data and maybe losing a little bit some of the anecdotal knowledge that we could have gleaned had we looked in the right places.
So true.
So, so I'm almost going to invite all our viewers to become sort of social observers, really, because I mean, this scene you see here, this is played out in every city around the world in normal times, and it's the street entertainer. You see these guys, they pitch up, and a crowd gathers. And if any of you see this happening, just step back and just observe the group because you'll very quickly start to see different personalities and different behaviors manifesting themselves. And I mean, just to pick out a few people here, this isn't an exhaustive list, obviously, but if we go straight to this guy, I mean, here you go. This guy's like totally on it. He's there. He's engaged. He's looking. He's smiling. Like he loves it. He loves the street entertainer. And you can imagine him shouting things out and putting some money in the hat at the end. And I think quite easily we could say this guy's an engager. He's engaging in what's going on. But if we just look at some of the other people in the group. So if we move to this lady, so this lady's going the other direction, and let's assume that for her, this is an unpredictable, embarrassing thing that she'd rather walk 10 minutes around the block to avoid than run the risk of walking through. Because who knows what might happen? It's unpredictable. Is someone going to get her involved in something? Is someone going to call out to her? No, she'd rather go somewhere else where it's a more predictable route. So I think, Jennifer, there's a couple of sort of poles there between the sort of avoider and the engager. But maybe we can just draw out a couple of other people. So this lady here, if you look at her body language, well, she's sort of front row. She's sort of looking. I mean, I don't think she looks entirely comfortable. I think she wants to appear as if she's engaging. I think it's important to her that she seems to be engaging. But I'd call someone like this a sort of go along with it guy. She's there, she's doing it. Would she do it if she was on her own? Who knows? And then I think, just to complete the picture, this lady over here, you see these guys all over the place. They carry on doing what they were going to do regardless, whether they're just drinking a soda or reading a book. It's almost as though nothing's happening around them. And I'm going to call this lady the I'm just here guy. She's just there, just doing her thing, completely unaffected.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we can all relate to these personalities. If you think about yourself, um, and I'm not going to call you out, Julian. I'm not going to tell you which one I think you are, but we all have those feelings when we're in the workplace. Based on what we need to be doing in any given day, or just our general personality of how we best process information and engage with our team. So, despite which sandals we would wear, we're still somehow one of these people, or a mixture of all of the above. And it's important to understand, even for this entertainer, how are they engaging their audience to get them to really see or be a part of this conversation that they're having. So how do you see leveraging this as we talk about diversity of people's perceptions in what they do at their best? How do we think about this in the workplace as we move forward from our conversations, diversity to help overcome adversity in a way? You think about the different work environments that we create, and one of those is that agile work environment or activity-based work environment that has been very prominent for years in the way you think about designing neighborhoods or environments for people to be the best around their team when they're together. So, how do we begin to reimagine or evolve this idea of agile based planning and the workforce of where it is today, and thinking of not only short term? I know everybody is worried about the cleanliness, the health, the idea of you don't know where your peers have been, and whether they've been around someone who is bringing in another condition that could cause some unhealthy environment. So you like your peers, but you might be a little shy from being around them. So how do we evolve into the environment short term and then to our new normal long term?
Yeah, well, I think the starting point has got to be a recognition that one size doesn't fit all. I mean, even if we take those four personalities I just described, and you look at this typical sort of open plan office, I mean, we have tried to get everybody into this environment, and we've frowned on people that hang on to their desks or want to sit in the same place every day. And I think we have to ask ourselves, why are we necessarily doing that? I think if we understand that for some people, the unpredictability of their environment is actually something that's a real block for them, why make it hard? So, why not create environments that allow all of these characters to thrive in a situation that really supports their needs? I think, Jennifer, if we go on to a typical scenario, say a town hall situation, over the top of the physical environment, there's also sort of the management and the sort of social etiquette of offices. And we take things for granted. As a business, we say, well, if we have a town hall, gather everyone together in one place, what we're doing is promoting transparency, everyone will be happy. And I think straight away you can see that some people just wouldn't be comfortable in that scenario. They certainly wouldn't be comfortable standing at the front, and they may not even want to watch it at all. They might want to live stream it. There's nothing wrong with that. These people are not being awkward. They're just working to their type that suits them best.
I think that's very true. I mean, just alone in this picture, those yellow cards can be a foul, right? Or red card, we don't want to be here. Um, but it is interesting, because when you put people in such a dense environment, and you are within their personal space, whether they're the engager or not, it doesn't necessarily drive people to show up at their best. So they may not even hear what their leader or the speaker is trying to say, and making sure that our awareness now, even more so than ever, needs to be heightened to what will allow people to feel comfortable when they show up and be their best of where they
Yeah,
can. So in these situations, as we imagine those town halls, we've learned how to do it virtually. How do we learn how to do it in an even more expansive way, allowing people to show up the best they can? Maybe driving into more the activity or agile work environment, using that kind of diagram or mapping approach. Maybe talk around that as well. How do you see this community idea, like we just talked about, bringing us together versus allowing us in our neighborhoods or our space to be the best that we can?
yeah. I think community is a great word, and there's nothing wrong with community. But I think, as we're showing here, it can be comprised of diversity and interaction. There can be opportunities to get together, but maybe opportunities to do one's own thing. And I think if we think about the workplace as a whole, a restaurant or a cafe where people are dining, we're encouraging people to work in those environments too. And some people just may not be comfortable occupying a table with four chairs in case someone comes and sits next to them. It's not that hard to create some areas where people can sit alone. And I think similarly, where there are collaboration spaces, say you and I wanted to have a coffee, Jennifer, we wouldn't want to track around the whole office floor looking for a space. We'd want to be able to stand back and really observe where some openings lay. And then we'd feel very comfortable going to that space. We wouldn't be disturbing people, and we'd just be taking out that sort of awkwardness that some people just don't like in their day to day.
It's very true. I agree with you, Julian. I think a great challenge for all of us is to say, how do we add this overlay of our very people-centered approach to the way that we continue to think about how buildings impact people in a positive way? And what are some of the things that all of you guys viewing today can send back over to us as far as ideas of surveys, ways to engage employees before they get back into the workplace to make sure they can be the best they are and the buildings can be the best they are for them. So I appreciate you taking time, Julian, on your holiday today, and
Pleasure.
sharing with us your thoughts. And I hope all the viewers have enjoyed this and well, and will challenge us with new ideas as we forge into this new normal. So thank you, everyone. Good night, good morning, wherever you are. And Julian, thank you for your time as well.
Thank you very much.